In the beginning phases of looking yourself in the mirror, a way for you to help you detach yourself so that you can see things is observation and acceptance. So, in observing and accepting, try this out. It's almost like the will within you, okay? The will within you is connected to your ego. And this is what you will do and what you won't do. This is your subconscious drive. And my process of Fear Wants Truth will help you fix your engine, your subconscious engine, so that you're not willing and wanting your way through life, that you're going to understand what is free will. Right now, this experience is to say that what you believe will is not the true form of will for you. This is compulsion that you believe is your free will. But this is more so an expression of your mind, a part of you that you think is you. This is your personality. This is your past. This is our memory. This is our imagination. And it creates a will that is connected to our ego. Well, my proof for you is that you are not the mind, but this will that is attached to the mind. That we will do this and we won't do that. This will is also attached to something greater, and it's in all, but you have seen it. You might have experienced it yourself. If you ever got into a life or death situation, saw it in action, and you saw somebody rush into danger. Now, the reality is, in that moment, that person's will is not aligned within their ego. For this is how most of us are looking at a situation. We're detached from life, believing somebody else will save that person, watching life, detached. And a person that moves in that moment is actually detached from their mind, not life. In the now, that person is very aware, and their will takes over. They don't have a choice. It's not a choice to do or not do. They already know what needs to be done. And their mind is trying to figure out how. And they're using their mind. Now, this little switch is not necessarily a person, but it's a situation that arises, and on any given day, any one of us can exert our will, our true self, and do heroic things for others. Not doing it for our ego, for our mind, for our selfish will that we get conditioned. So understanding this will and just the practical application of what you will do and what you won't do, and the certainty of that. If you look in the mirror, you may realize there's a reason why this will is so certain. But you also are the source of this will, the true source of the will, which is not the mind. The true source of the will is when you are not in your mind, is when you're aware of the now. Now, in time, you're going to realize being conscious of the now, it takes effort for you to pay attention on what's going on in the now. And when you do this, you're going to realize the now is always relatively safe. If you use the now, instead of the now using you and feeling like you have to detach from the now, you have to this, you have to that, is if you use the now to ground yourself, you use your will to see what's going on, to look inward, to see what's going on outward. You start using your will. You start using your mind. And you're going to start realizing in time what this will is and the aspects of the ego and the characteristics. If you study on it, people will say that all of our egos is the same way. It's built up on our fear and our list of wants. And these things that go on with us is natural. It's not bad. It just reflects the environment that we come from and what we believed and what we thought at a certain point in our life, because we did not know. Now, understanding and knowing is awesome, but knowing and knowing what knowledge is and knowing how, those things are higher knowledges, especially if you seek to know who you are and you seek to know the self of all this action that's going on. The way for us to know ourselves is by experience, not by thinking. We can never get it by thought, by belief. It has to be in the now, by you testing it to know. And what you know is right now. Everything that has happened to you. If you know that nobody likes to be yelled at, if you know your sensitivities, if you know what worked and what didn't work, you use that, you're going to find your way. The Bhagavad Gita says it's simple. The will is the worst enemy to the self until the self is realized. Then the will is the best friend to the self. I hope you experience this by validating your truth in this process, that you may realize the will is the worst enemy to the self. So be conscious, be aware, be a best friend to yourself right now. Do what you know needs to be done. Don't be the condition that you come from. Be the condition of the now. Work on that. Work on effectiveness, accuracy. What is life to you? What is it that you know? The path to knowing will get us out of our belief. But the way to get out of our belief, we first have to know where we're coming from. We got to look in the mirror. And remember this, the first light that we see usually is embarrassment. So behind embarrassment, there shines more light. It's because we know. Go into what you know, not into your mind. Try to just be in the now. And in the now is where you know. And the mind is not. The mind is in time, past, present, future. Try to be in the present, in the now, and you'll realize you're out of your mind. Because who you truly are, what the will truly is timeless.